Good morning, it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 1st of November. This is the BBC's Breakfast Time, and these are the main news stories overnight. Rebel Conservative MPs say they will go ahead with their vote against charges for dental and eye checkups, which could lead to a defeat for the government tonight. Voting has started in Israel in what's described as the most important general election in the country's history, and President Reagan has strongly denied that his administration has prevented the release of an American hostage in the Middle East. Morning, Kirsty.
Morning, Jeremy. Well, in Breakfast Time this morning, we look forward to the task and the criticisms facing the Chancellor as he prepares to make his autumn economic statement. The government bans the killing of seals around the British coast, but has the reprieve come too late to help the virus-struck seal population? And the story of the American couple who are certain they took the wrong baby home from hospital, they're now trying to reclaim the other child. But first, the main news stories from Dando.
Good morning. The government is today facing one of its toughest challenges in the Commons. Dozens of Tory backbenchers are expected to vote against new charges for eye and dental checkups. Despite 11th-hour meetings with the Health Secretary Kenneth Clarke, the rebellion is set to go ahead. The rebels say Mr Clarke offered them nothing to make them change their minds.
Dead seals have been washed up along the North Sea coastlines in the last 3 months. They're victims of a virus that scientists believe is closely related to canine distemper. It's impossible to say yet what the impact of the virus will be on the seal population of the North Sea, although most pessimistic estimates suggest it could wipe out up to a third of the entire number. At the same time, fish farmers have still been shooting seals to protect their salmon stocks. Seals are officially protected during the close season, although special licenses do allow fish farmers to defend their stocks. The ban on killing was based on advice from the Sea Mammal Research Unit at Cambridge. The unit, which is working to reduce the impact of the virus, has revealed that all of Britain's seal population has been exposed to it.
Talk to me. We're going to be talking to someone about seals very shortly. Here, the chap who's fact head of the Sea Mammal Research Unit in Cambridge. But before that, we'll go on to other matters. I think we'll talk about robots instead, because they're also designed in Cambridge and they're about to go into production in Russia. The move is part of a deal set up by a local firm who've just moved into new premises on the outskirts of the city, and I believe we're going to have a film about that instead. Well, we're not. We're going to talk about that. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about something entirely different. We're going to talk about a big battle in America instead, I hope. It's erupted over the parentage of a young Florida girl. A Pennsylvania couple is claiming the girl as their natural child. They say a hospital swapped their baby for another baby shortly after birth. From New York, Tom Brooks sent this.
Horrified.
The drama began in July when this Pennsylvania couple, Regina and Ernest Twigg, discovered their daughter Arlena was not their biological child.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, there was no genetic linkage between Arlena and ourselves.
The discovery came only after blood tests were conducted before Arlena entered hospital for heart surgery. Arlena died shortly after the operation. What the Twiggs now claim is that 10 years ago, this Florida hospital deliberately swapped their own baby for Arlena shortly after birth.
They are alleging a deliberate action, and I find that just totally incomprehensible.
Mrs. Twigg says the baby she bore was healthy, but only 3 days later, doctors brought in what she now believes was another infant, Arlena, who had a congenital heart defect. She charges that her healthy baby was given away as part of a baby-selling scheme.
Nothing would ever change our feelings for Arlena, but we wanted to find the other baby. We want to know where that child is. We want that child.
The Twiggs believe that their natural child is Kimberly Mays, who has been brought up by Robert Mays in Florida. But Robert Mays disputes the charge.
I assure you all that 10 years ago, when I had that child, it was a very happy day in my life, and I left that hospital with what I believed to be my daughter, and I still do.
The Twiggs want Robert Mays and Kimberly to submit to genetic testing to determine if he is her biological father. He refuses to do so.
They want me to completely stop living, put my child through genetic testing, and do all the things that they want me to do. I see no basis for that.
The twigs will go before a Florida judge on Friday to see if they can force genetic testing to be done. Robert Mays says whatever happens, Kimberly will always be his daughter.
I wouldn't care if they trace her heritage to Cabbage Patch USA. She's mine. I'm her father. I always have been and I always will be.
That report by Tom Brooke. Now we can look at what's happening on the weather front all over the country, and Francis is back from a sunny holiday.
So I am. No hurricanes, no thunder, no hail, no snow. November the 1st, tang of autumn in the air. A sharp frost in many parts of southern England and Wales. One or two places as the sun gets up now where the air is being stirred, going into a little bit of freezing fog. So although you set out, it's crystal clear. Beware, there might well be a few patches of 50 yards about on the motorways.
I think it's hugely important. I mean, it's always nice to be a part of history anyway.
You chaps say everything you do is hugely important.
No, well, I wouldn't do it if it wasn't. But I think it's nice to be a part of something that's out of the ordinary, that's different, that a lot of people have got involved in. These things will be stored for future use, will be stored for research. And that, I think, is very important because telly is about to change in a big way.
Yes, and I want to inject here that all kinds of public figures have been saying what we should and shouldn't have on TV just lately. And, you know, this is a chance for the viewers to actually have their say and to put down what they really feel about their television service.
When future researchers come to look at these diaries and videos and things in 50 years' time, what do you think they'll make of it?
Well, I don't want to prejudge it, but I somehow suspect that a lot of people will be very affectionate about the programmes they really like. I mean, one of the good things about perhaps this evening's viewing, I mean, it's not particular, it's the schedules have not been changed, you know, to suit one day in the life of television. But I think that we will find that people are attached and feel affectionate about particular programmes. And they may also feel angry about the absence of other programmes. It'll be just interesting to see. I look forward to reading them.
Some of them could still be running, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, when it's deregulated, I think, so maybe 10 years down the line, when we've got 27 channels, I think everyone will think, actually, it wasn't so bad when we just had the 4. It was quite comfy then, wasn't it? But when we've got hundreds of them to watch, I think, you know, so look back with a little bit of affection. Well,
we'll see. It's been very good fun being filmed by these chaps at 4 o'clock in the morning on one's bicycle. Thank you both very much for coming in. Look forward to hearing more about it. Kirsty.
Thank you. Well, that's all from us this morning, breakfast time, at the end of our contribution to A Day in the Life of Television. Good morning.